Yeah.
Listen, I got on a sweatshirt hoodie. We roll up in the Toyota Avalon.
To the Bentley joint. To the
Yeah, man.
What's up, family? Welcome to the Eavesdrop. I'm Neil Lowe's Jr. and I'm here with Mr. Marcus J, aka Clutch Marcus Scott, aka Sexy Lover. Just kidding. Clutch, good to see
What's
you,
going
sir.
on, family? How y'all doing this evening?
Man,
Today?
I hope that everybody is doing well. I know we're doing well. Came back from Orlando, had some good time, good conversation up there. Got a couple of good episodes.
Yeah, man. I enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. So, I reached out to you. I was like, man, come on, man. We gotta do this a lot more. The
I
people
don't know about I
gotta
don't know
get the
about a
people
lot
what they
more.
want.
No. Oh, so check this out. Talking about giving the people what they want. Here we go. Money book. Don't create what they need or want. Create what they love. How about that? Now,
Oh.
I don't know that our viewers love this. I think they want it or need it. So this might be the last episode of the Eavesdrop, right? I'm just saying, I don't know. We haven't gotten any love letters saying, I love this thing. They said it's cute, it's nice, it's okay. Love, that's a strong word.
It is a strong word, man. But maybe if we're more consistent, and I say we, then maybe they'll let us know that they love it. Maybe they don't love it or they're not telling us that they love it is because we're not giving them more of it.
Hey, well, I don't know. I've got to see in the list of priorities, they come much further down the line than me, myself, and I. All right, let's go ahead and jump into some good stuff today. I've been rereading a book, Excellence Wins by Horst Schulze. He was I believe, the president or the co-founder of the, what is it, Ritz Carlton.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ritz Carlton Hotel Group, a company. But his idea of excellence wins goes directly against a book that I'm reading right now, which is You Inc. by Harry Beckwith. And while Horst Schulze says excellence wins, here's what Harry Beckwith says. Popularity is more valuable than excellence. Popularity is more valuable than excellence, meaning that in today's business world, especially, is that you don't have to be the best, you just have to be popular, right? So this is those two sides, right? Do we want to be the best? Do we want to be great at something? Or do we just want to be popular and get stuff out? I would love to hear what you have to say, Clutch.
Man, that's a tough decision because I guess, well, let me put it this way. It's a tough decision in the fact that what are you actually looking for, right? So probably if you're looking for the financial gains at a more rapid pace, I would probably say popularity, right? Um, a lot of people do things that will create popularity. One of the things that I'm intrigued about that happens on our social media platforms is that sometimes people create controversy comments and things like that just to get feedback, just to become popular. Why? Because negativity or controversy sells, right? And so they start getting a lot of followers. So I think on the news the other day, there was a thing that they shared where someone had taken this person's facial and their identity, created this blog, and started just posting a lot of controversial stuff, and their followers skyrocketed through the roof. Well, they went to this person. They was like, "Hey, why are you saying that?" She was like, "What are you talking about?" And they said, "Well, you have this blog or this thing on social media." And she was like, "That's not me." Well, they had taken her face. Well, they finally got to the bottom of it. And the point that I'm trying to make, the person was just very controversial, and it like blew up, and the person got popular based off of negativity, that sort of thing, because that's what they say interests people, right? We hear all the time that negative news sells, and so we hear more negative stuff on the news cycles than, positive things. And so I think from that aspect, a lot of people want popularity because what is that? What's behind all that? Ratings. What's behind ratings? Money. Um, in the
Now,
social
really
media
quickly
space.
on that clutch, talking about
Mhm.
money, because for our business owners, our entrepreneurs, small business owners, right? Many of them want to be excellent, but they're
Mhm.
thinking on the day to day of the overhead, right? Bills are coming in. We've got to get resources. And so, do we see a blend of excellence and popularity, or are we more often than not seeing one at the expense of the other? Either we're excellent, which might mean that we're working on a product or service for 3 years and never shipping anything, never releasing it to the masses, or we're on the total opposite end of we're just focused on popularity and we're giving out crappy product, right? So that's one thing. So really quickly on that, what we hear a lot is, let's just go ahead and address it, Android versus iPhone, right? Samsung and Apple, where I think many people will say that Samsung has better products, right? Meaning in terms of camera quality, call quality, the platforms that they use to promote, or to not to promote, but to actually run the software. But iPhone does such a great job with the popularity piece that the iPhone is more desired. And now we find other companies, like for instance, Samsung, trying to keep up with that. So now we ain't gonna get into the iPhone versus Android debate, because we know that we are on opposite teams there. Because I'm team winner and you're team iPhone, right? So, speaking
That
of
is
that,
so untrue. That is so untrue. So let's go to your point even in that, right? So I believe, and I believe statistically as well, when we talk about the popularity and excellence, right? Well, what is iPhone actually excellent at? Can we agree that they're excellent in security? And one of the main reasons is because of the systems that they use, and with the Samsung product using, I guess, a Windows-based product or what have you.
I have
I
no
don't.
idea. I don't know nothing about excellence in security.
that,
I just know
that
that. But here's what I do know, right? My tech people, even the people who, like our production team, our IT people at church and then at the association, a lot of them have Android products, right? Because they're saying that in terms of what they're looking for, it works. But Apple has done a better job of communicating with everything, right? So it's a more
Mhm.
popular platform. So I don't know anything. I had an S8 up until 2 days ago. Then I had to get this S23 Ultra just because my battery life was at 30 minutes and I couldn't get to my destination of showing properties and stuff. So after 10 years? Yeah, about 10 years, I finally upgraded my phone. So much so that they were like, we got a trade-in program. And the one that they show on the commercial, bring your any model of this. No, it did not apply for the S8. They was like, bro, we didn't even think you still had. We had people with those phones.
that
So
that sound like me. I took my iPad mini to the Apple store. I'm like, hey man, it's not doing certain things. They looked at me and was like, sir, you can't even you can't even download the updates on this anymore. You might as well trash this and get a new
be like, God, stop. Be like, how y'all just gonna beat me up like that, man? Like, dang. At least leave my ego intact. If y'all gonna empty my
really.
pocketbook, if y'all gonna empty my wallet, leave my ego intact, right?
really,
Um, so
really.
so here's something I want to ask you about as well, because a lot has gone on since our time together in Orlando. Some things have been going on. So we just talked about this popularity versus excellence. And then I want to segue just a little bit into reputation versus integrity, because this is going to take us a step further into a topic that I want to talk about tonight that's big in our world right now. So first, we know that reputation is what other people think of us, right?
Yeah.
And then integrity is what we know about ourselves to be true. And while we don't want to get so stuck on reputation because that can change with people's opinions of us, we still know that someone's opinion of us is a reality that we have to deal with. So when it comes to reputation, what's something that you think, or how much weight do you give reputation versus integrity in daily life, but also in business?
So it's crazy that you brought that up because I know we have talked about that before. And Tim Weiser put me onto a book called Leadership is Not for Cowards. And in that book, it actually talks about a leader has to consider. So it says people are going to talk about you as a leader when you leave the room. What they say about you is more than likely how it affects the organization or the group or whatever you're in charge of or leading of. And so how that perception is goes a long way. And so I believe that it is important from a standpoint of if people feel that, and let me just give you an example. If people feel you're a butthole, yeah, they might be, nice to you in front of you, and especially if you're in a leadership position and they're under you. But what are they really going to do when you leave, right? Are they going to, is it going to be, hey, I'll do anything for this guy no matter what? Or are they going to say, hey, if it's between me or them, then, the heck with this, right? And I think that that has to do somewhat with the reputation that you leave, and I believe that is or has to do with how do they really feel about you when you're not in the room, right? And so I do believe there is some like we have to have a good reputation or like who you are once you leave the room. But I also believe that integrity plays an important piece of that because who you are, whether they're in the room or not, I think will leave to that true reputation and what people think of you.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because one of my mentors told me if you focus on your integrity, your reputation will take care of itself.
Yeah.
So I think we're in agreement there. And here's why I wanted to ask your opinion on that. Man, NAR is all in the news lately. I don't know if you've seen it. Man, clutch. We around here trying to battle lawsuits and all this. And then, as if things can't get any worse, lo and behold and lo, sexual harassment allegations coming from the left and the right. And we've heard it, we've known about it. But then the New York Times, not the New York Times,
not the New York Times,
not the New York Times did an expose, and here's what's wild, right? That even like they're just shedding like now we're not here to talk about the right, the wrong, the allegations, all that. What we are here talking about is exactly what you mentioned that Tim Weishauer, his book, Leadership is Not for Cowards. When you put that title of leader on your name or you take a leadership position, you are opening up that bullseye on your back. Kenny Parcells, National Association of Realtors president, Mr. Ride for the Brand. A lot of allegations, right? I think 20 plus allegations of sexual harassment and just I think it will be inappropriate behavior, right? From text to images to conversations to invitations, and so especially as a leader, right? As a man, as a head of a national organization, can you just share some of your viewpoints on being in the spotlight of a leader, and what are some things you want to be cautious of, or that we should be aware of? Because we don't want to scare people, but you want to be aware of as a leader at any level, but especially when that spotlight is on.
Well, definitely that goes back to the integrity, right? So, when you're in a leadership position, you probably want to be hold the utmost in integrity. And we both know that integrity basically means what you'll do if you're going to do the right thing when nobody's watching, right? And so that to me would take care of if you're a leadership and the spotlight is on you.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to do the right thing when the lights are off, it's dark in the room and nobody's watching. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. You're sitting at the red light, no cars around, no cops around, and you just sitting at the red light.
My bad. Nope, no, I'm gonna let it turn green, Clutch. I'm gonna let it turn green. I'm sorry. I'm gonna let it turn green. I promise.
Right? And so you look to the right, you look to the left.
We gonna
And this
sit there
light
and
has
wait.
been red for about 4 minutes, and we know at 3 o'clock, 4 minutes is a long time.
And hey, I might wake up rolling through the intersection at 3 o'clock in the morning. The first question is, why are you out at that time? We were coming from the airport because we just got finished with the business trip. That's why. See, some of y'all want to know why Clutch was out at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's the wrong question. The real question is why he had to drive himself. That's the real question.
See, but let's take that scenario, right? So we bring out the sun, all the cars around. If you're a person of true integrity, it wouldn't have mattered if the sun was out shining and 200 cars on the road. If you can do and sit at the red light in the dark when nobody's around, then it wouldn't be a problem while the lights are on, right?
Yeah. So check this out. As someone, and I know you're always maybe not trying to get into leadership, but always ask and have leadership opportunities, right? Knowing all of the light and responsibility that's going to be placed on you, why even freaking want to get into a leadership position, especially in 2023? Everybody's talking about world star, right? Everything you do is going to be scrutinized. Why even consider going into leadership? Why would you want this weight on your shoulder, this burden? Isn't it easier to say, I'll let Joe and Jane handle it and I'll just sit here and mind my own business and do my own thing?
Yeah. So one of the reasons why I've never really wanted to jump into leadership is for that reason you're talking about. I don't want to mess up and then people looking at me crazy, people all in your business, people, because I feel like, hey, I'm going to make mistakes.
Hey,
but
hold on, Clutch. I forgot what comedian said it when they were like, you can't go nowhere with the president. He always fighting. Right? So be like, I don't know if we really ready for a black president because, man, he like to fight too much, right? Like, so because why you all in my business? Why you asking me about that with my wife and my kids here? You know what I mean? Because there is a lot of responsibility, right? And people are, right? I know most people want to see you win and do good, but there's a whole lot of people out there that's like, I know he gonna mess up. I know she gonna screw up. Right. So
yeah.
Continue. I just wanted to just add that foolishness in there.
Yeah. So like, one of the biggest reasons is because of that. It's like, I know I'm going to make a mistake. I know I'm going to mess up. I don't need everybody's comments. I don't want to hear it. And so it is the easy way out. Right. But at the same time, with my Christian faith, there are times when I ask myself, well, why not you? Right? Who else is going to do it? The question comes when there's an issue that comes up, right? Something pops in your head. Somebody ought to fix that. You looking around. Well, if everybody looks around, it may never get done, right?
Hey, I'm not just gonna look around. I'm gonna.
Exactly. So
help is not on the way. You are the help. You are the help, man.
Help.
So really quickly, I know you talk about that's just a part of it. I'm sitting here in my money book, and there's a quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. It says, "To be great is to be misunderstood." And so I know that part of being a leader, walking in front of, there's going to be a lot of people who misunderstand you. Many people are going to be envious of you because, not so much because you've taken the responsibility to lead, but they're just going to say, oh, well, he or she wants to be in the spotlight. They just want all the accolades, not knowing that you're trying to accomplish something to make it easier for your followers, right? They're going to be like, who does Clutch think he is? He wants to be the leader. He wants to be a state director on the board of governors. He wants to be the president of this organization so he can get the accolades. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, bro, y'all have no idea what goes on in the background, all the headaches and the frustrations and the peopleness, the messiness, but the peopleness that we have to deal with. So to be great is to be misunderstood, but also to be a leader in any aspect of the word is to be misunderstood as well. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100.
All right. So here's one more thing that I want to touch on in this episode. And it is this idea, and this was brought up in You Inc. by Harry Beckwith, talking about people hear what they see, right? Mm-hmm. The whole idea is that we do not listen with our ears, we listen with our eyes. So I'm reminded of what my dad told me before he passed. He said that if someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And mm-hmm. this whole idea of people hear what they see forces me to, whether we're talking about NAR, Kenny Parcells, us in our lives, when people see us, what do they hear us saying? Not in our words, but in our actions. Do you remember the saying that what you do speaks so loudly that I can't hear what you say? Right? Yeah. It's the same thing. And so when it comes to people hear what they see, what's something that you would encourage people to do in terms of reputation, integrity, character, values, so that people can see the right thing, therefore they'll hear the right thing?
So you the question was, what do I encourage people to do?
Yep.
So for me, I would probably say, I don't even really know how to say it. Like, it's on the tip of my tongue, but because where I'm going with that is, somebody once told me that sometimes my life will be the only Bible that someone would read, or my life would be the only, look at Christianity or Jesus that they may see or read. And what that simply means is how I live day to day. That's what people are going to look at, right? To me, that also goes back to integrity, my faith, and then just actually walking that out. I guess that's kind of hard for me to explain in sense of how do I tell people to do that? Because that's something that's got to be down on the inside, right?
Yeah. So on that first, for me, it always goes back to, I think, something that you and I have conversations about, having those values, right? So I know your faith is that value. It's that bedrock principle that says, hey, is this going to be a violation of my core beliefs, meaning your faith? And then from that, we can build upon, now, what are they going to see, right? The whole, I heard the same thing you did, but it was phrased to me that sometimes my life is going to be the only sermon that some people ever hear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And see, look, I picked up what you was putting down, right? And so I tell you, y'all can tell when we from the South, and they be like this. They be like, oh, y'all country. Yes, we are. We from the country. We just doing okay, y'all. I ain't saying we made it, but we making it. So absolutely having those bedrock foundations, so that when it comes time for people to see that it's authentic, right? And I think that what we're seeing right now is, especially in leadership positions or people that are in leadership positions, we're finding out that the facade that they put up, that it has tears, right? That it's a thin veil, and that it can't withhold those tests. Because here's what I know. Like the saying often is that you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your training. And I think that's what they say about Marines or something, right? So you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your training. And so what I think about is what you were talking about at that 2 or 3 a.m. No one else is on the road. That's when we find out what you're really about.
Yeah.
That's when we're going to see what people hear about us, right? They're going to say, okay, she is a woman of integrity. He's someone that I can trust, right? Why? Because here's what his track record is. Here's what I've seen in the past. Now, here's what I want to do as we close out. Man, what's up with the NAR, man? What are we going to do? How do we get from where we are to a better place? Because I know not everyone here is a realtor, but everyone's a part of something. And sometimes things just go bad for the organization, for the family, for the business. What can we do, whether you're talking to NAR leadership or if you're talking to the members of NAR? What do we do to almost stop the bleeding, bro? Because we just getting hit left and right and DOJ and you're like, man, can we get a break? Nope. And we're looking around for help. And guess what, Clutch? We ain't no help coming. Help is not on the way. So what do we do, man? When we've got a storm swirling around us as we're in hurricane season, right?
Yeah. Speaking of, we got the hurricane that is headed up this way via tomorrow and into Wednesday. So pray for us for that. With that said, I know one of the things, again, going back to what we just got to talking about, is my faith, right? So I'm encouraged to pray and believe in God and trust God. Now, with that said, that means also praying for my leaders who have made mistakes, who have fallen. That means doing the best that I can to educate those in my circles to say, hey, take this as a lesson from somebody else. My dad told me once when I was young, the reason I try to give you advice is so you don't have to make the same mistakes that I made, right? And he always told me it's better it's easier to learn from someone else's mistakes, right? And so with that said, if we just are conscious of those who have made mistakes around us and learn from those so that we don't make those same mistakes, then we could potentially go a lot further, not having to step on some of those landmines that somebody else, has stepped on. And so again, I just would lean in my faith and pray for my leadership and those around me. Again, you're saying NAR, but that's with any organization, no matter which organization I'm in.
Right. So it even goes.
I believe we as humans will make mistakes.
It even goes to our friend circles, right? I always think about Kevin Hart when he got in trouble for infidelity, right? And he said that the reason was because he didn't have the right people around him, that he put himself in a situation where the good people in his life, he isolated from them. And he said that he knows that he had people around him that would not have allowed him to put himself in that situation. But when he got to him, it was himself isolated, that he did things. But then I go back and I'm like, okay, yes, I know a lot of it can be the social circles or who we have around us that are going to be that blockade, who are going to stop us from making dumb decisions. But then ultimately, sometimes it's just going to be us, right? We're not going to have friends. It's going to be us and our faith, our bedrock foundations or values that we're going to have, that we're going to have to lean on. And so right now, I just want to tell everyone, any organization, any family, business, that when the storms are swirling, when there's just stuff going on, one, if you're the one going through it, just hold on, because this too shall pass. If you are the friend, loved one, colleague of someone going through crap right now, don't abandon them, right? Because I think that's when we as leaders, we as people, that's when we really find out who's with us. Now, even if there was bad behavior, we don't have to condone the bad behavior, but we do want to let our leaders, our friends, colleagues, family members know that they're not in this by themselves. I think that as a leader, it's easy to find yourself alone, right? Because all of a sudden the safe thing for everyone else to do is to pull back and not have a position, right? And not stand up and defend, because why would I want to get some arrows shot in my direction, Clutch? So it's sort of like the Hustle and Flow line when he said, she with me, but she don't necessarily belong to me. You know what I mean? Right? And so my whole thing is like, I'm with them, but I ain't with them. So I know them, but like, who do you really know these days? Right? So, but because think about this, even our dog Peter, he denied Jesus, right? He was like, man, was I with him? Heck no. I had seen him, I heard of him. Weren't you with him in the garden? Nah, bro. That was Petrie. I'm Peter. That's different, right? And so I think it's important for us to be reminded that it's gonna pass. Don't abandon your people. And then Rod Wave, for those of you like, Neil, you know a lot about Rod Wave and all these other people. Rod Wave has a song out that he just put out a couple weeks ago called "Call Your Friends," right? And the whole idea is that when stuff is going on and when the storms are swirling, call your friends, check in on them. Let them know, hey, I'm here, just to say, hey, I don't need anything, just to check in.
Yeah.
Because I know right now there are a lot of people who need calls from their friends who are just saying, hey, you screwed up, legit, but we here. Right? Yeah. Don't call me from your regular cell number because it's probably tapped right now. Call me from a payphone, dog. Call me from a payphone. Do they still have payphones?
I don't know, man. That's a good question.
You know what? I'm gonna go see if I can find a payphone tomorrow somewhere. I don't even know where would I go to find a payphone. Would they have them at the bus station or something? I've never been to a bus station, so I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I was gonna say, can you Google one and see if it'll come up on Google Earth? But payphones don't have no internet connection. You Googling a payphone?
I'm looking to see where is the nearest payphone. Man, I got to go. You can search Google Maps for payphones near me or payphone in your zip code to find nearby payphones.
That's interesting.
Payphone in. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Let me see. Oh, come on. There is a site, Payphone Project. So they
putting them back out?
It tells you where they're located and it gives you the phone number to the payphone. What? Oh, come on, dog. So this is how you get this is how they used to do it in all the movies, like in New York, when you be standing on the corner and the payphone ring. Alamo Rent-A-Car got them. BP Oil got payphone. Lester's Diner. Hey, first of all, don't go to Lester's Diner.
That sounds like a long shot.
Come on, Lester. Hey, call me at Lester's. Hey, you know what the people look like standing outside of Lester's, right, waiting on the payphone to ring. Who else we got? Oh, how about this? Willie Cone Condo and Air Conditioning. How you can be a condo and air conditioning service? Oh, Willie Cone's Condo Air Conditioning Service.
Man.
All right. So I'm gonna call one of the payphones tomorrow. See who answers. I might do it live on speakerphone too. All right, that's enough of this. Hey, Clutch, man, always a pleasure, sir.
Always a pleasure with you, man. I appreciate you.
And you appreciate it. Check this out. So this is what people need or want. This is not what they love. So I don't know how much longer we're gonna create this. That's what the money book says. We got to stick to what the money book says. If y'all don't tell us that y'all love it. All right, we love you. God loves you. There's nothing you can do about it. Don't be average.
Be world renowned. We out, man.
We out. Peace. Love y'all. I like y'all. I mean, we need y'all, want y'all. Something like that.
Yeah.
I got on a sweatshirt hoodie. We roll up in the Toyota Avalon.
To the Bentley joint. To the